Golden Era Gaming.
Hello, welcome to Golden Era Gaming. How are you today, Martin?
I am very well, thank you, Martin. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling like, I'm feeling good actually. I think I got it right first time. How are you feeling?
All right, pretty good. Do we need to explain what we're doing, or does everyone know by now?
Well, I don't think we've been that tight previously, so we could have a little recap, can we? Like a previously on A to Zelda.
Okay.
Where we talked about the letter A, then the letter B,
and then what?
Then letter C.
Okay, cool.
And today we're talking about the letter D.
Yep.
And we're going to pick.
Just in general, the letter, or is it something to do with like?
It's not Sesame Street today. We're talking about 16-bit games from the Mega Drive and the SNES for the letter D. No other games allowed.
Okay.
And you obviously were on Mega Drive this week looking at D, and I was on SNES this week looking at D.
Yeah. So I was playing all the D games.
Do you remember what you've been doing all week?
Yeah, it's all coming back to me.
You should have been.
Yeah.
We're doing the work so that they don't, so that the listeners who are listening don't have to.
Yeah, all the work. 16-bit systems. I was always confused as to why they were called that. I thought, it's not really. It's about 3 bits really. There's like the main bit and the controller bit and like the cable. Maybe 4 or 5 bits. But maybe it's...
What's been bothering me though, a bit away from the bits, because I suppose it's like, is it like Lego? Is that how many bits? Is the naming of these systems? Sega Mega Drive. Yeah. Sega Mega Drive.
Yeah.
And then the Nintendo Super Nintendo. Why don't people call it that?
Yeah. It would sound a bit weird, wouldn't it?
It's been bothering me this week. Well, I haven't noticed up until
See,
D.
You're displaying your bias here. You are such a Sega fanboy that you thought that it had to be. You thought the impetus was on Nintendo to call it the Nintendo Super Nintendo, rather than that Sega should call it like.
I'm not. No, it's not. No, I'm not.
The Mega
I'm not
Sega.
Slagging off Nintendo. I'm just saying why aren't we doing it? Slagging off we.
The Nintendo Wii.
Wii. Yeah. Always, you're like a journalist trying to catch me out.
So bad, we make the same bad jokes.
Okay.
So, I bet you were hating this week having to do the Nintendo Super Nintendo, while I got to play on the Mega Sega all week.
The Mega Sega, yeah. No, it was good. I don't know if it was good. I don't think the letters. I don't think D was a bit like the Scottish Premier League, Rangers and Celtic, like 80 points ahead of everyone else.
Right.
So I had a couple of top teams, but the rest, whilst good in their own right, there was a little bit of a gulf between them.
Yeah. On the other hand, I thoroughly enjoyed the D. I enjoyed the D this week. Yeah.
I looked over and I did think your D looked nice on the Mega Drive.
Yeah. It was flattering.
I even had a little play with with some of those titles, and
not too much,
just enough. So it was naughty, so I stuck to my own.
Stuck to your
That's fine.
That's right. Someone's got to play with that. You drew the short straw.
Already, this is the introduction. Already, too many of those.
All right, well,
cut.
Introduction
out.
Over. Let's play A to Zelda.
A to Zelda.
Okay, so who's going first?
SNES goes first.
Okay, yeah.
If we're going by
because it's better.
The laws that we've set aside for the show so far, people are expecting SNES in first. Maybe we shouldn't do it that way.
Maybe one week.
I'm on SNES this week, so
you better get stuck in then.
The dump.
So I would probably describe my dump this week if I had to sum it up in a word or two, as tough.
Right. A tough dump.
But anyway, yeah, it was tough. It was tough. At first glance, there were some big titles in there. I think this is going to be easy.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's get to it. We can't be talking about what didn't make it. We need to be talking about what did make it. And my first selection, pardon me, my first selection this week is it's a little known game called Desert Strike: Return to the Golf.
Okay.
A golf game.
A golf game.
It's not really.
Right.
it's a golf, like GULF game.
Yeah.
And I remember we had this. It's an EA game.
Yeah.
And you are a little Apache helicopter on like a almost open world kind of. It's a 3D sort of world. It's quite open. You can just fly around, and you get various missions.
Yeah.
And I remember playing. I think I never remember being that good at it, but I remember just flying around and you shoot and you blow things up.
Yeah.
You've got a certain time to complete a mission. But the graphics are quite good. It's sort of 3D. I remember because it's 3D. I mean, I think we've had it on the Mega Drive. I remember it really grating against the D-pad on the Mega Drive. It's a bit unforgiving. So I remember that's a problem on this game. But you go around blowing up satellite dishes and rescuing little hostages, and people shoot at you, and you have to shoot at those. But I remember you'd blow up a building, and then a little tiny lemming sort of character would run out, and you'd have a little retractable ladder that would go zzz, and then they'd jump on the ladder. And
So wait, you'd help them after blowing up their stuff?
They were probably the hostages, but you were really a bit careless in getting the hostages because you were intent on blowing it up anyway. Yeah. They just happened to escape before they got crushed to death.
I don't know that I would pick people up that I almost killed by dropping bombs on them. Just, it would be a very awkward helicopter ride, wouldn't it? Like,
drive back, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be like,
what's even funnier though is that the retractable ladder, you retract it down, but if you're slightly away from the person, then they don't get on the ladder, and then it goes back up again. So it takes about 3 or 4 goes of
it's the equivalent of like driving away from your mate when they're about to get in the car.
Whoa! It's exactly like that. And if you're not that strategic like me, that's what you end up doing.
Yeah.
So that's it's a very popular game.
Yeah, I can never remember which one.
It's a big title, but
is it the one that they always is called like sometimes it's Desert Strike, Jungle Strike, all that? Yeah,
it's quite a serious game, still quite playable, but there's lots of this stuff about now, so maybe you wouldn't revisit it. I think people still do play it though, but it's some people's favourite Mega Drive game.
Right.
But I don't know if I like it or not. I played it a lot back then.
Yeah.
But I've got it on there because it's a big one. It's quite clever.
Yeah.
You when you do, yeah, it's check it out. It's an interesting game. Although I did think, here's an idea for a game: Desert Strike.
Yeah.
And that would be sort of using all those nice 16-bit colours.
That would be great.
Things like that.
So it could be like ants, good, actual ants, because the people always look like ants, but you've got ants on like a picnic table, and you have to pick them up. And you have to blow up the cakes. Again, there'd be very angry ants that would get in the helicopter with you.
Or could just be a food fight game, couldn't it?
Food
fight.
You
throw cakes at each other.
Yeah. Yeah. Could be.
Or it could be a custard pie. You throw custard pies at each other.
Yeah.
So that's everything I've got to say about Desert Strike.
Yeah. You're hungry at the moment.
People like it. It's probably too strategic for me with my patience, but good enough game and quite impressive, like an open plan kind of thing.
Yeah,
open plan. Sound like a kitchen designer.
Yeah, you are hungry.
My next selection, and this is just perfect. I mean, it's like the games gods are listening to our podcast, because last week you'll remember that one of the games that didn't quite make it was Cliffhanger.
Ah.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
Do you remember it didn't make it? It wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
and I was frustrated.
Yeah.
D comes along, Demolition Man.
Ah.
Demolition Man, the game,
Demolition.
starring Sly
I
Stallone.
don't remember this one.
And, well, this is sort of an impressive game in a way,
Yeah.
and sort of not. It's scraped in. But what's quite good about it is that it's you're on a rooftop scene and you are running around very carelessly with a sort of machine gun, just pumping it into the air
Yeah.
at all these different baddies, helicopters. You actually start the scene by you're on some sort of bungee rope from a helicopter and you get lowered down and you're still firing this gun.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of grunting. Ooh, ooh. And it's all sort of sampled from Sly himself.
Really?
And I thought, this doesn't sit right with me, this grunting. So I did the extra research and I watched Demolition Man.
Yeah.
And actually, the grunting is really accurate because he grunts all the way through that film.
That's some heavy research you've done there.
Yeah, it's a nice looking game. And there's sort of the first level is probably what I would recommend people to play, because he's just it's just really sort of frantic, and even when he jumps from building to building, it looks like he's just about to trip up, and he just about makes it, and he grabs onto ladders. It's pretty good Sly game to get into. And then the weird thing is, it jumps to like a 3D sort of cannon fodder style game on level 2, and it goes back and forth with sort of a totally different format and game, and then you're back on a 2D run and gun kind of thing. So it's a little bit repetitive, but it's sort of nicely done, and it does seem to follow the film quite nicely. Do you remember the film Demolition Man?
Yeah, I was going to ask if it still holds up, because it was quite weird at the time. All the futuristic films, it was all like doom and gloom and explosions.
Yeah.
And that one was like it was more, from my memory, that everyone in the future is sort of very sensitive and fragile. And it's like,
Yeah. Well, let me just
interesting prediction.
Recap. It is interesting, actually, because I thought it would have dated really badly. The plot really is. It's mid-90s, and Sly Stallone is a gung-ho cop who causes a lot of damage whenever he catches a bad guy, so they call him the Demolition Man. And Wesley Snipes is your sort of baddie criminal who's keeps hostages, and he's killed lots of people. Anyway, in the first scene, on this rooftop scene, he does catch Wesley Snipes, but people die in the process, so they both get sentenced to prison. But prison is being cryogenically frozen, so you don't do a life term, you do 70 years in the freezer, which actually, when he gets
that was the weak point for me. That sounds to me like that will be worth it. You don't have to sort of go do the time, but you get to travel into the future.
Yeah, everyone's dead though when you do sort of wake up after that.
Yeah, but like if you had nothing to lose and you'd already lost, say, family or whatever, you would totally just go on a big rampage, because then you get to travel into the future.
The nice bit about the cryogenically frozen scene is that I think you get the slightest glimpse of Stallone's scrotum. Pretty sure I saw it. So it's one to watch.
Yeah.
Anyway, when they both wake up in the future, because they've done such a good job at curbing crime, there hasn't been a murder, death, kill for 16 years. But Wesley escapes and starts killing people, and no one knows what to do.
Yeah.
So they defrost Stallone, don't they?
Yeah.
But he's deemed some sort of animal, really, because he swears.
Yeah.
And in the future, you've got self-driving cars, swearing, smoking, meat, physical sex is all banned. Everything's hooked up to the internet. Arnie was president for a time, so that's pretty good. Pretty good.
Futuristic.
But anyway, essentially, I wanted a Sly Stallone game.
And balls as well.
I wanted a game.
Do you see his balls in the game or just in the film?
I didn't make it to the end. I think at the end, if you complete it, that's the treat.
The finishing shot. Yeah.
So we got one in there.
Full 16-bit.
I can now ignore any other sliced alone game because I've had my fix. But it's it's good. Good game.
Probably was that like maybe some kind of symbolism because in the future, like it's like as if no one had any balls, and it's like he's the only one with any balls left. So you're going to leave the balls in.
I don't think it was intentional. I think it's that when it was made, it went straight to it was on VHS, wasn't it? And now that they've tidied it up and made it HD, things that were blurred out in grain are now vivid.
Yeah, true. Oh, you've taken so long. Sorry. You've only done 2. We've gone into film reviewing. Unbelievable.
Well, that's fine. My next selection is one of the big hitters. The big hitters of SNES. Full stop. Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah.
Which features.
This always used to get like 96% in the magazines back in the day when we used to have magazines.
Yeah. And it's one of those, it's deemed sort of the savior. People will disagree, but the savior of the SNES, because the SNES carried on a few years after Mega Drive making games, and they were sort of held their own against the new consoles like PlayStation because of the extra work they did on the sort of 3D rendery 3D look games of Donkey Kong, because it does look very impressive, and it almost tricked people into thinking, oh well, SNES is pretty much as good as PlayStation in terms of power. So you've got Donkey Kong, and I meant to do a different intro to this. Right, forget that we're talking about Donkey Kong. All right.
Yeah. Forget all that. Okay. We're not talking about balls.
Is it out of your head?
Yeah. So.
Okay, it's out of your head, right?
What, the balls? Yeah.
You can't get them out of your head.
No. I can't.
But at least so forget what I just said, right? Yeah. What comes to mind when I suggest a platformer with multiple height platforms, a flagship mascot character who can jump on people or curl into a ball and roll into baddies with a 2-player co-op?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Sidekick.
Yeah.
It can only be one game.
Yeah, Donkey Kong Country.
And what game's that?
Yeah, good point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what it is. That's what it is. And your big Donkey Kong is you've got little Diddy Kong who goes around with you. It's not quite co-op, but it's a neat trick. So your 2 players can't play at the same time, but you're both holding a pad. And let's say you're Donkey Kong, you're the main person. The other person follows you along without being controlled. And then when you injure yourself, he just runs off, and then it defaults back to Diddy Kong.
Right.
So you're never playing at the same time. It's sort of a way of taking turns, which I thought wasn't quite as good as the Sonic and Tails, where Tails sort of is pretty much invincible, but sort of goes off screen and just flies back in again.
Yeah.
But anyway, they caught up. They did the 2-player mode, and it sort of works.
Yeah.
It's very nice. You're going through the jungle. The level selections are pretty nice. You get to ride on animals like rhinos, frogs, swordfish. This big monkey, and you're riding on a rhino in the first level. It's got really nice music. There's sort of a mine shaft, trolley, rail level. There's swimming levels. It's really playable even today. It gets pretty difficult though. The first levels start easy, but it does ramp up to be pretty unforgiving. Where in Mario you can be Big Mario, and then you've got a hit, or in Sonic if you've got a ring you're okay. But apart from having your partner with you, that's your safety net. If you get any hit against you, you're dead.
Brutal.
So that was quite difficult for someone who's not very good at games like me, but it was still quite playable and pretty fun, and they mix it up quite a lot. So Donkey Kong Country, if you haven't played it before, and I had only seen it back in the olden days because I had a friend who had it, but he wouldn't let me play it. I just got to watch him play. So I remember it being a nice looking game. But,
who would have known that would become a whole genre of things to do, is to watch other people play games? Because I remember it as being as horribly...
I was ahead of my time.
Frustrating thing. Because you did always have that friend that would just... And you're like, why did I even come visit you. You're just playing on, and I don't even get to play apparently.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
but yeah, they're probably making $1 million now. So the joke's on you, Martin.
They might be. Well, but then I was doing the. Oh no, I was the consumer then and the consumer now.
Yeah, you were consuming then, and he got an idea and went off.
Made his millions.
Yeah.
Bill Gates. I went to school with Bill Gates, so he made his money.
Is that how he made his money?
My next game.
Okay.
That's how he made his initial money to save up for his computer parts.
Yeah, playing games.
Pretty sure. Yeah.
All right, next
My next selection. So I'm going on, aren't I? I'm going on big time. My next selection is arguably the fans' favourite of the Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong 2. Diddy's Conquest, 1995. Quite similar, obviously, but in this game,
I get it.
Your two sort of yeah. Donkey Kong has been kidnapped, so you, Diddy, and a female sort of sized Diddy with a big sort of blonde ponytail.
Yeah,
they're the two characters.
Okay.
Instead of, so they sort of got rid of Donkey Kong, which I quite, actually, I liked being the big bruiser Donkey Kong in the first game. So you play as two similar sized. They've got different attributes.
Mm-hmm.
Dixie has sort of helicopter hair, and you can sort of glide down a little bit.
Okay.
Once you jump, and they can throw each other like the barrels that you can throw. You can pick up and throw in Donkey Kong 1.
Yeah.
You can actually pick up each other and throw them at enemies. And because they're going to rescue Diddy Kong, they leave the Kong Island, so you have more interesting levels. You've got pirate ship, beehive, carnival, like a maze of thorns kind of thing. So it's nice variety, and the graphics, they sort of fine-tuned the gameplay. So it's supposed to be the sweet spot of the series.
Yeah.
But I think I probably, and this is not nostalgia based, probably out of those two, just about prefer the first one because I like being Donkey Kong. But anyway, that's controversial.
Well, it's an interesting topic, doesn't it? Because usually the sequel should be at least a bit better. They should have been able to improve the gameplay. Graphics might be a little bit better. But do you give more points to the original for kind of being original, revelatory,
doing like 90% of the work? But then maybe on reflection, I think it's not quite as stark difficulty, whereas Donkey Kong's a bit unforgiving. Donkey Kong 2 is still difficult, but it's sort of a bit more.
That gets points for me.
But they're both really good, and if you like the first one, you'll like the second one. So, but what is my next choice going to be? If you like the first one, and you like the second one,
Donkey Kong 4.
Donkey Kong 3 will be my next choice, but it's not, because if you don't like Donkey Kong, I still need to give you a choice.
Yeah.
So
Donkey Kong 3 is not very good.
Donkey Kong 3 is pretty good.
Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's just as good, but it's quite similar. And
Desert Strike is better than Donkey Kong 3, is what you're saying.
Well, yeah, you're taking the games right off of my list. That is. I can't. I'm trying to just for all the listeners out there. What I want to do is get a bit of variety, because if you like Donkey Kong 1 and then you've played Donkey Kong 2, you're just going to play Donkey Kong 3 anyway. So I just need to throw another game that you maybe not have heard of, that you might like it just as much. And that game is the 1994 Christmas classic, Daze Before Christmas. DAZE, Daze Before Christmas.
Okay.
It's a Christmas-based platform game.
Yeah.
You've got 25 levels, like an advent calendar.
Okay.
You play as Father Christmas, who can throw sort of snow blasts and bounce on people with your bum. It's a fun Christmas game that you can play all year.
Yeah.
It's very nicely done. The graphics are nice, and it's not all platform. There's some levels dotted in there, which is like a sleigh you're in a sleigh and you
Yeah.
are zipping around, dropping presents through chimneys. And one in England, one in Japan. And the England one's quite nice because you come in and you go past the White Cliffs of Dover, and then you're
Yeah.
on like Mary Poppins style roof scene. So it's quite a basic game in some respects, but it's nicely done. And actually, if you want to get Christmassy but still want to play a game, Days Before Christmas is the game for you.
I wonder if one day, because we've got more and more storage and all the games are online, and sort of someone will make a game where that's your job, is to just literally be Santa Claus and go and deliver like billions of presents, and someone will play it forever and
Yeah.
ever. That's probably
I
when
think
they'll
if I had had this around Christmas, I would have played this a lot, I think.
really, and then stop
Not-
playing it after Christmas.
Yeah,
Yeah, cool.
maybe. I mean, I was thinking when I was playing Days Before Christmas, is this the best ever Christmas game? And then I thought, no,
Huh.
Batman Returns
Yeah.
is a Christmassy game.
Is it?
That was better. And then I thought, is it the best Christmas game in D? And then I thought, no, because Donkey Kong 3 has a Christmas mode cheat. So that's probably better. So it's not even the best Christmas game beginning with D. But it's fun for all the family, and check it out.
Yeah.
That's my 5. That's my selection.
Oh my god, it's taken half an hour. What an epic dump.
I'm sorry about that, everyone.
Oh goodness me. You need to take in more fiber or something, I don't know. Whew, I'm tired. I feel like that took a lot out of me, that dump. And now I've got to go and give mine.
Well, I told you it was hard. I did tell you. I warned you.
You did, but I just wasn't expecting it to be that hard. I should have done, because we're doing D this week. Super hard.
Go on then. Let's have your dump. Sum it up for me before
right. I'm
you dump
being
your
hurried
5
up.
selections.
I'm being hurried up, guys. Come on, hurry up. I'm going to take like 5 minutes to do this. Okay.
That's not very good.
Here we go. First up for my dump this week. Death and Return. The Death and Return of Superman.
So it's a T game.
A what game?
A T game.
Oh, because of the yeah. Brackets, the. Or Death and Return of
okay.
Superman,
Fine.
comma, the.
Yeah, that's fine then.
You obviously didn't
Carry on.
study librarianism, Duncan. Do you know that if you want to be a librarian, you need a degree in being a librarian? Imagine that.
No,
Yeah,
I don't think you do.
You do.
I mean, I'm not putting down the work, but there's lots of different libraries, aren't there, around the world? There are small libraries. There are bespoke libraries.
But it's an actual qualification you need. Imagine that. I mean, you probably do even less now than you used
Something
to.
you really want to do.
You used to have to put books
I
away. Now you just have to show old people how to open their email.
There's more books now than ever. There's more books been made, and they have to do email. So I'm not surprised you need a bloody degree. Thank you very much, Martin.
Are you someone in your family a librarian? Did I touch a nerve?
No, because then I would have known the thing, wouldn't I? Would have known the facts.
Because they would have told you about it every time. So when I was doing my degree in librarianism, so about that time when I was studying librarianism. Oh, Martin, I must tell you about the time of my degree when anyway, facts.
Yeah.
Facts. Okay. Yeah. Where was I? Death and Return of Superman, comma the. I actually really enjoyed it. I'm a bit bored with beat 'em ups, but I thought it was actually pretty fun.
Me too.
You Superman, you have all his weird special moves, so you can like do a big and everyone dies, and it looks really good.
What is that?
You got to play.
Yeah, that could be a punch. That could be
like a flying up off the screen and then everyone dies.
Slamming back down again.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, it was obvious. Obvious what I meant.
I liked how you could fly in the game. I'd never played it before. I didn't think they'd let you fly. but they do let you fly. I think
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
I would prefer it if you were Clark Kent and the beat 'em up is actually you accidentally ducking when another baddie punches the other baddie, and then you stand up and go, oh, what happened? Oh, Lois? That would be fun. Sort
Yeah,
of
that's.
not getting beat 'em
You
up.
know what? I miss. Superheroes have really like taken off, haven't they? And what
Yeah.
I liked about Superman, Christopher Reeve Superman, is squeaky clean. He's squeaky clean.
Squeaky clean, yeah.
He's polite, and he made me think. He inspired me to think that nice guys could come first. But now, since then, they've done the whole like gritty. I mean, people will
Yeah.
say that this is all before, but I mean, what's come to notice is now that the things that are making, he's got a gritty backstory.
Yeah.
He's a tough.
No,
and
don't like any of that.
darker. But this
Rubbish.
is sort of, this game is set in in that sort of, it's like an underworld almost, isn't it? But I mean, it's really nicely done. But I would like a Superman game that is that squeaky clean Superman. Like you said, oh, excuse me, being nervous about asking a girl on a date.
I really like at the end of the movies, when he flies by and he smiles at you through the screen. That's a really nice moment. That's like, Superman just
nice.
like waved at me, and he's got this really like wholesome smile. If it happened now, I don't know if they do it in the new ones, but it would just be like flipping off the camera, like, so moody.
And what?
Not the same. We got enough dark. We've always had Batman. Just stick to the Batman.
Yeah, I mean, in the game though, he's got his laser eyes, hasn't he? He's allowed to. He flies. He does that up and he zooms into the air and slams down. So they have kept a lot of the Superman stuff. So that made it a little bit different to the normal walking around, punching bad guys. So I think that made it a pretty good game. Back to superheroes though. You know which Superman they haven't, which I'm going to buy the rights to. They haven't made a film with this guy yet.
Sorry, you know which Superman they haven't made a film of?
Superhero. Which superhero they haven't made? Well, now you know the answer, but so I'm going to buy the rights to Banana Man.
Okay, yeah.
Because they've made like Spider-Man, Superman loads of times, Batman.
Yeah.
Banana Man, no film. No film yet.
You could all the spin-offs. You could have Banana Man versus Super Ted and stuff.
Yeah. So yeah. I that's keep it to yourself though. That idea.
Okay. We'll cut that out,
next.
shall we? That's a keeper. Next up, it's a game called Desert Demolition.
Dessert Demolition.
And I have to,
that sounds delicious.
It does.
It's another good game there, isn't there?
Classic. I really, really enjoyed this game. This was fun. This is based on the Roadrunner Wile E. Coyote cartoony things.
Yeah.
It's really good. You get to pick as well. You can either be Roadrunner trying to escape the coyote, or you can be the coyote.
Oh, I didn't know that.
The Roadrunner. It's actually
I did not know that. I thought it was.
Yeah, I think when you just press start at the beginning, you don't realize that you've actually got the option. It's a good one for anyone listening.
That's my impatience.
Yeah, because I did the same. I thought I just went straight in, and then, but yeah, you actually can play Roadrunner. So you just got to select it right at the beginning. But yeah, it's actually more fun as the coyote, because you got all the stuff from the cartoon. Like you got these like Acme boxes that you get. You can get springs. You can fire yourself through a cannon. You've got like rockets, flying suit.
The rope that you climb up catches fire, doesn't it?
It's
you
really
turn to ash and drizzle down.
It's really fun, and yeah,
I'd never heard of that before.
I'd never heard of it
before we looked into the Daze
either, and yeah, very, very cool game.
That's a cool game.
Which is a little bit deflating to get onto this next one, which is probably quite a good game, but in comparison, that's a bit This is Donald in Maui, Mallard. So,
Yeah.
according to some
A nice looking
categories, it's just called Maui Mallard, but I had it listed as Donald in Maui Mallard. So, just gonna use it in the D section. Yeah, it's a nice graphics. I mean, I guess it's maybe similar to Castle of Illusion, but I don't think. Anyway, it's different enough, I guess. But
It is quite similar. It felt quite similar to play.
Yeah, and for me, it was cool.
Well, thanks
it
for
made it on my
recommending
list.
it.
Well, it must have been okay because I did have quite a few kind of good games that didn't make it this week. So it was notable enough to put on there. But yeah, at the same time, it's all right.
But if you like Disney platformers and you liked Castle of Illusion,
exactly,
then
I'm doing it for you guys.
It's got a cool. It had on the first level. I noticed you're walking down and you go past like a bookcase and it spins you round, and then you're like in another plane behind.
Yeah.
And you can see yourself through the stained glass window. So it had some cool features.
It did have some cool stuff like that.
Well, they've worked hard on that.
Which is probably why it got selected. Stuff like that. It was just enough to go, how interesting. Next up, Doom Troopers. Okay. This was actually really fun. Cool music. It's got this. The graphics are kind of weird. It's got that sort of slightly off-putting realism, but not realism thing. Almost like, well, not really like Mortal Kombat, but that as a platformer with also very cartoony elements too. Weird. But yeah, the sound effects are kind of, you've got like this sort of velociraptor-y kind of noises when you kill the baddies. There's some fun stuff. You get to one boss and he's just puking. He's just at the top of the screen. He's going, just like puking down. And you're sort of walking around in his puke. So that, again, that's probably one of the elements that made me think, what a keeper.
I had a quick game and it was pretty, you're in, it's run and gun and you're straight in and there's lots of bad. What I found weird was I felt like I was shooting robots, but there was blood going everywhere.
Yeah.
These robots were bleeding.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty, and like you'd shoot the head and the head would come off and then they'd like drop to their knees. So it was quite a cleverly animated, but you're really just legging it. Really fast game, aren't you? But there was something about it. And that weird 3D thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost like because it's a late game. That was, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
But I did think that there was just like something not quite there with it. It was like, most of the good aspects were there, but it was just something not quite. Maybe similar things were in other games. I'm not sure.
Yeah. All right. Next up.
Yeah.
Dynamite Duke. This is a kind of arcade type shooter, and you're Dynamite Duke. He's got this weird kind of see-through chest, which I didn't quite figure out. I guess it's so you can see more stuff.
Yeah. So you're just stood at the front, aren't you?
Yeah. Surprisingly well
just
done.
Gunning everything.
Yeah. Because when you don't actually have a gun, you think that kind of thing can often be really frustrating, but it responded quite well. So for a sort of controller-based shooter, I actually did a pretty good job, and it was a nice change. So for me, that made it on the list. So if you like,
it's very early. I remember this game. As soon as I saw that you picked it, it came. I hadn't even given it a thought since probably I put the control pad down, and everything came back.
You played it?
Yeah, I think we might have played it somewhere. I'm not sure. it's weird because you need to be dodging stuff that's coming your way. It's a little bit like that bonus level on Shinobi where you're throwing the ninja stars at people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was pretty good, pretty difficult, and the boss was pretty difficult because he just comes over and you start having a fist fight. So you sort of, as soon as anyone comes close enough to you, you have to punch and kick them.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a bit weird. It was a bit weird, but weird but cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, I also had. I'm going to have my stinky dump one, which I like to throw in. That's the one where it's kind of so bad it's good, and terrible. And it kind of didn't really have one this week. In a way, I sort of ended up going for Dr. Robotnik's Bean Machine because it's not that terrible, really, but it's also terrible. I mean, it's a rubbish game. But people would buy it because, Dr. Robotnik. So I think it's worthy of criticism for, I hate those cash-in games that you're like, Mario Paint. And you sort of buy it because of that. So I don't remember, I don't think I ever played
I think
it.
It's like a game already that they've, it totally existed.
Yeah.
It was even released, I think. And then they've just sort of, I mean, like puzzle games anyway, they seem to be rife with it, don't they?
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, then they've just...
That's why
I read the storyline for it, and it wasn't even worth repeating.
No.
Because they didn't need to have a...
You don't need a story. I sort of put it on the list because there were a lot of puzzle games this week. There always seems to be one type of game that seems to dominate each letter, which is weird. There are lots of puzzle games. Final point of mention is that Double Dragon... that's not getting on any list. It's not bad enough to be, it's not interestingly bad enough to be a stinker. I was looking forward to playing the Double Dragon games, but because I think on the NES they were pretty awesome and they were rubbish. So I'm mentioning them I did play them. They just weren't good enough to get on the good list, and they weren't even fun enough to get on the stinky dump. So Double Dragon.
So you're just disappointed.
Just very disappointed. Disappointing. That's when you go to the toilet, nothing comes, and you got to go. Suckage. That's what I put next to it. Double Dragon equals suckage. So there we go.
So you hate Double Dragon and you hate puzzle games.
No, I don't. I don't hate either of those things. I really enjoyed playing it on the NES. I went to a friend's house when one of the first games I played, I think, was Double Dragon on the NES, and it was awesome. And I don't know if it's maybe that the game is actually terrible on the NES and I haven't played it since, or if they just failed to build on a good game. Anyway, should we get some?
That's all the selections on the table.
Yeah. Should we get some cuts?
So now it's time for the cut.
The cut. Okay, I'm going to cut. Well, obviously the stinky dump is getting cut. Bean Machine.
So we need to get this down to 5. So Bean Machine, your 6th choice. We're going to cut, are we?
How did I?
That was your 6th.
Oh wow, how greedy. Okay,
I wasn't going to say anything.
Donald, I still managed to do it in significantly less time than you covered 5 games, but who's counting? Not clock watching.
Yeah, I warmed everyone up for you.
Ah.
Let's stop arguing.
No, I won't.
We're supposed to be a team.
Are we? I thought we were like enemies in this because you're on the opposing console.
No, we're supposed to be showing people that the war is over, and why can't we just love each other?
Yeah,
that's what we're supposed to be.
All right, so I'm down to 4 then because Donald and Maui Mallard is gone. Mallard? Mallard.
Done. Mallard. Yeah. There's that one, and there's that one. So you're down to 4. What? Before you go any further, let me see what I will take off. I am going to take. I wanted to play the Sly game. It should be selected, but not in the top 5. So I'm going to get rid of Demolition Man.
Okay.
You had some quite good games actually, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yours.
You've got the Donkey Kongs.
The Mega Drive.
Tough.
Donkey Kongs. They're big games, good games. I will probably have to get rid of Daze before Christmas.
Oh no.
I'll get rid of that. I know.
Yeah.
That's fine. I think I'll get in enough trouble for just selecting it anyway.
Yeah.
So that leaves me with 3, and
How are you going
Strike.
Are you going to put both forward, or are you going to select one Donkey Kong to represent them all?
Ooh, well, this is early days. I thought Donkey Kong 2,
Yeah.
but then I've gone back to thinking Donkey Kong 1 would be my top pick.
Yeah.
But I mean, what's gonna make it to the top 5?
Yeah.
I've got three things. Is there anything I could probably get rid of? Desert Strike, actually, because my heart's not in the game. I felt it should be mentioned and discussed and recommended.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's going to make
So I got a few
my
like
top,
that.
my top 5.
Because you got that the sort of strikey one. I've got Superman one, beat 'em up. I've got the arcade shooter. So it is nice to have a bit of variety, but it doesn't mean you should just put it in just because it's a beat 'em up.
That's right. Yeah.
Stuff. I'm definitely going to put Desert Demolition. I feel like that's my safe choice. Doom Troopers was cool. Dynamite Duke was also fun. Did I like that more than Death and Return of Superman? Ooh, what a tough one. So what have we got guaranteed? We've got Donkey Kong, Desert Demolition, Donkey Kong 2 as well.
Well, if you got rid of 1,
yeah,
then that's a 5.
Okay. Oof.
Should I have got rid of Desert Strike? I mean, I've crossed it off now, so yeah, but maybe that could have made the top 5. I thought the Death and Return of Superman came across well on the SNES as well.
Yeah.
And it was probably just about to make my selections if I didn't crowbar the other rubbish in.
What do you reckon of the Death and Return of Superman, Doom Troopers, Dynamite Duke? Did you think any of those was particularly weak?
I'd probably say Superman and Desert Demolition should go through.
Yeah.
And it's really between Doom Troopers and Dynamite Duke. Which one? Which one?
Well,
if it was me,
I'll put Doom Troopers through then.
Okay. So our top table.
Yeah.
Donkey Kong Country, Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy's Conquest.
Yeah.
Death and Return of Superman, Desert Demolition, and Doom Troopers.
Yeah.
So that's a top table.
Right.
It's not a bad top table this week.
Not bad.
Now we need to pick a winner.
It's got to be one of the Donkey Kongs, surely.
Yeah, I know that I liked the big and small combination.
Yeah.
Even though I think Donkey Kong 2 was more polished and people like it. There's not much in it, and I think if you were gonna pick one, you start on that, and if you like that, you go on, and if not, you say goodbye. So I think it's probably got to be the biggest game, and there's no nostalgia attached to it for me, and I thought it played really well still, and you can save it as well. It was a little bit difficult, and with modern day, you can play it on Switch and you can play it on emulators and stuff. You can save it a bit more than you can on the game, so it might alleviate some of the difficulty. So yeah, I reckon Donkey Kong first, and I liked Desert Demolition on the Mega Drive, even without knowing that you could be what's it called? What's the
Roadrunner?
Roadrunner. So I'd go back and revisit that, I think.
Yeah.
Runner up.
So I guess Donkey Kong Country is going to enter this week's Hall of Game.
Hall of Game.
Well done.
And
good.
So our best runner-up is going to be Desert Demolition.
That's a nice runner-up, actually, because Never heard of it, but really good.
And then also rounds, we've got Death and Return of Superman, we've got Doom Troopers, and we've got Donkey Kong Country 2.
That's it. That is it. Nice little set. Try them out. Try them out this week. And join us next time for the letter E, surprisingly enough. It's going to be some good games.
See you then.
I think.